Hi, welcome back to my kitchen. Today we are going to do a different type of tuna melt. Freshen up the old classic of a tuna salad by doing a little bit more Mediterranean flavors. We're just back from Joe Patty's market where we saw that beautiful tuna.
She does such a beautiful job in filleting that fish.
I'm going to start out with a bagna cotta. So I'm starting with 2 anchovy fillets, and then I'm going to take some of this garlic, zest 1 lemon. Now you don't want to go too far into the white part, it gets a little bitter. And now to facilitate kind of getting this into a paste, kosher salt, always kosher salt. That gives it a little bit of something to hang on to while it crushes it up. A little bit of black pepper. And just let the weight of this kind of smash that down. I mean, this really changes things. You know, you could take a garlic press or you could chop this garlic up with a knife, but you're never going to get that flavor out of the garlic that this will bring. You know, the anchovies are what gives it a little bit of that extra depth and layer of salt, more of it as a seasoning than an actual ingredient. So now that we have our paste, we can take the lemon that we zested, and just to round that kind of acid base out, I'm just going to put a teaspoon of sherry vinegar, a little bit of olive oil, and we're going to start grilling our tuna. Good bit of salt on there, some ground fennel, fresh pepper. Do the same thing on each side. And then just a little sprinkle of olive oil so that it doesn't stick to the grill. Make sure it's nice and hot. We've been a few minutes on each side and you can see the white forming on the bottom here. A lot of people think about tuna, they think about sushi, they think about Japanese food. But tuna is a huge, huge part of the diet in the Mediterranean. The more you cook tuna, the drier it's going to get. So that's why, you know, you want to leave, you know, just a little bit uncooked in the middle, and that just makes it a lot more tender. These I'm going to cut up a little bit smaller than the tuna. I've got 2 tablespoons of chopped mixed olives, green and black. Probably half of this pepper, so half of a jalapeno would be good. Just to give it a little zip. I'm going to add this vinaigrette in here, a little bit at a time, just to make sure we don't overdo it. We shouldn't need to season this again because our seasoning is in the vinaigrette and our seasoning is on the fish. Homemade focaccia bread, but you can use whole grain bread would be good, or a ciabatta bread. And I have some provolone cheese here that I've just grated up, but you can use slices as well. I think we're looking about 1.5 tablespoons on each side. I'm using the provolone cheese because it has a sharpness to it, which I think cuts through that garlic. And it's got a good salt to it too, and it melts well. You can consider this Mediterranean, it's a little bit Italian, and a little bit American, I suppose, with the melt side of it. This should be enough for 4 sandwiches. So instead of butter on this, since we're sticking with this theme, we're going to use olive oil. The key to a really good grilled cheese or melt is you don't want the pan too hot. Just hot enough to where it slowly crusts that bread while it's melting the cheese. Periodically, I'm just going to kind of hold it down, smash it a little bit, because I think that's another real key to a good melt. Another thing you can do that'll give it kind of that panini effect that'll heat the inside up and expedite the process a little bit is you can put a lid over it. And this lid fits inside, so it gives it a little weight to kind of hold it down. At the same time, it captures the heat under there. I'm just going to hold this here because this has soaked up all the oil that we've had on that side. So we're going to put just a little bit more down so get another fresh coating on here. Don't worry, olive oil is good for you. Do the same thing here. All right, now we should be ready here. Just looking for a little bit of crust on there. See how it's kind of flattened out? You want to serve this pretty hot. I'm just going to give it about 20 seconds so it's ready to go. So this is our Mediterranean tuna melt. And you can see, because we have it pressed together, it's nice and hot, delicious looking. It's very important when you make these that don't be afraid of using too much oil. Olive oil is not going to kill you, but it's really important that you really get that saturation of the oil into the bread to really give it the nice deep crust that it needs. Wow. Now that's a different tuna melt.